Okay. And I believe, are we live yet? We are not live yet. Give me 1 sec. It should be going live in a second. Yep, we're up and running.
Cool.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the hippest trip on Twitch now. It's no longer on YouTube. You are right on time to catch this positivity train. It is pulling out of the station. Are you feeling what I'm dealing? Because we are coming at you, and that's all because I'm out of rhymes. So, yeah, I'm trying to work on my rhymes. I want to be more Soul Train oriented, like, you know.
I mean, in
like,
your defense, that's better than I would have been able to pull off.
Yeah, Don, like, you know, if you ever watch Soul Train with Don Cornelius, he can do it for like 10 minutes. Everything he says is a rhyme. So I'm working on it. I'm working up. It's a little bit of time. There's a learning curve. So, I wanted to welcome you guys to a very special show. This is kind of like, you know, in the 80s when every time they wanted to try to get more people and viewers, they would have a very special show. It'd be a very special Different Strokes or a very special Blossom. This is a very special show to to promote that. Okay, sometimes if you raise your voice, it pops a little bit. All right, I'll turn it down. Yeah, I have been having some problems with popping lately in my videos, so hopefully that fixes it.
You just get so excited.
That's it. I'm so excited. There we go. Okay, you guys let us know if our levels are good now. Give us some feedback, and I think we're good to go. So, what I want to do is talk to you today about, well, a couple different things are coming out here, because first of all, you know that I have been streaming, since this is a Saturday show, I stream normally on Saturdays and Tuesdays at noon. And some of you guys, this is the first time you've joined me over at Twitch. And you guys know that YouTube, for some reason, struck me down, and I don't live stream at YouTube anymore, so I'm adopting Twitch as my new home. I still have a YouTube channel, but I can't live stream over there. So I am also on many other networks. You guys know that I stream everywhere. I'm like Mr. Universe and Firefly. I'm everywhere. Oh, you like that? All right. So we're... but I try to support all, you know, decentralized platforms. But if you guys been watching my channel, you know I have my favorites, and my favorite is Library. Although I don't live stream there, hopefully someday, hint hint, one of you developers will create a live streaming app. Hint 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 hint. But other than that, so I can't live stream there yet. But I do put all my content after the fact up there. So the reason I bring up Library, and you guys hear me talk about Library probably 2 or 3 times a week, you're probably hearing me, sick of hearing me talk about it. I actually found our next guest on Library. I didn't know about Alex until I saw her featured on Library, and then I decided to check her show out. So I went over there, watched the show, threw a little tip money, and started digging her show, because what I like about Alex and her show, Crypto Candor, is that it's simple and easy to understand. Many crypto shows, man, I get lost. I don't know what's going on.
Yes.
And so what I want to talk about, and before I introduce her, is just a little bit about what this show is going to be about today. Because a lot of you guys know that I like cryptocurrency. I started with cryptocurrency a long time ago, but I'm not an expert in anything. I just had... See, I was very involved in the Liberty community, and I would go to something like PorkFest, and people would just pay you, you know, I would, whatever, be selling something, and they would pay me with cryptocurrency. So I just kind of like stuck it in my wallet, and, you know, like Roger Ver would be there and hanging out and come over to the booth and, you know, just be... I remember when he was giving me cryptocurrency for free to try it. They used to have something called the Bitcoin faucet, where you go to this website.
Yes, faucets.
Get the faucet, and so I had these cryptocurrencies for a while, and I just held on to them. And when they hit, like, you know, I bought Bitcoin at $5, and when it hit $100, I was like, oh man, I'm cashing out. And I cashed out almost all of it. And now I'm like, oh, I bought a camera so I could make documentaries. And now it's like, oh God, probably a $200,000 camera, you know. So, hey, thank you for the follow, Jiggy Tom. Thanks for following me on Twitch. So that was
Jiggy Tom.
Hey, I know we have some folks from Library joining us, so big shout out to the Library. This is our first, as far as I know, this is our first Library on Library interview.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all right. So we're pretty excited about that. So for you guys tuning in, I'm going to talk about cryptocurrency, but I don't want you to freak out because it's going to be very easy to understand. We're going to keep it simple. So let me introduce my guest, Alex from Crypto Candor. And Alex, why don't you go ahead and tell people about how you got started, a little bit about your show, and who you are.
Sure. All right. So in my main video on my YouTube channel that's there now, I kind of explain how I got started. So a year ago, I knew nothing. I didn't know. I mean, I knew of Bitcoin, what it was. I had heard about it, but I'd never owned anything. And my brother owed me some money, so he paid me in Bitcoin because it was just easier if it's what he had. And I left it on the website Coinbase, which is a place that you can buy it and have it stored there if you really want. And by doing that, it wasn't very much money. So I kind of just left it there because, to be honest with you, I didn't really know what to do with it. And I went back about a month later and it was worth more money. So I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. What is this? So I started doing some research. And that's kind of when I fell down the rabbit hole. I saw how expensive Bitcoin was, and I felt like most of you feel that I missed the boat. So I started doing research on other things like Ethereum, which you'll probably hear me talk about a lot. It's like the second most well-known cryptocurrency out there. And I started buying it when it was cheap, and then trading didn't work out too well for me because it's just, I guess I'm too emotional of a person to trade. And then I was on a Slack channel, which is like a big chat room basically. And everybody on there had said, hey, you know, in your research, you should talk about cryptos, you should do a YouTube channel, because I have a second YouTube channel that I do about car stuff. I was doing like auto vlogging and all this other stuff. So I was already experienced with it. So everybody's like, well, why don't you make a second channel about cryptos? And I put it off and I put it off. And it just seemed like I was worried I didn't know enough. I was worried I wasn't, you know, an expert, and that nobody was going to be interested in my, you know, entry-level noob stuff. But as I had explained before, or I say pretty frequently to people when they ask, I always told myself, I'm going to do research. I'm going to go home. I'm going to read up about, you know, this project or that project. And it never happened. I was always too busy with work or too busy with life. And I never found time to research things that I wanted to invest in. And then I'd see projects get really popular and the price would go up and I'd get really upset with myself. So the crossroads for that was I'm going to make a channel to force myself to stay accountable and have to learn and update and know something well enough to teach other people, but also teach myself. And then I realized, you know, within the first month of doing it, that there was this huge market for people not having knowledge, and that I was kind of bridging this big gap that I had found when I started in crypto, was that there's not a lot of entry-level information. And, you know, you had said when we started the stream, don't get nervous, this isn't going to be too tech heavy. And that was the whole idea behind my channel, was I wanted people like me who knew nothing to find a resource that would help them. You know, I'm trying to create something I wish I had when I started, basically. And that's kind of the long and the short of it.
Yeah, and that's what attracted me to your channel. Is I've got this itch now, because I did make some money in crypto, but I should be happy that I did make some decent profit with it. I just wish I hadn't sold it, you know. I wish I'd bought and hold a little, like, you know, I go back and now I'm like, damn. But I don't want to miss the next boat. And I do feel like, I keep saying I've been hanging out at library because I like their projects, and I'm trying to get some library coins and getting excited about, library credits. They're called library LBCs. Because Snoop Dogg went over there and named them. So they're called LBCs. Yeah, Tom put out this really funny meme about that. They call them Snoop coins. So, anyway, we'll get back to it. I wanted to talk about the basics, because even though I use them, I really don't even understand how they work that well. There might as well be some Magic Oz guy behind a curtain just waving a wand. And
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, that's it. So let's start with the very, very basics of what is a cryptocurrency, and how does it work?
Okay, so in a really basic sense, Bitcoin was created originally because, well, for a number of reasons, but really people wanted to be able to have a currency that was universal, that was fair, and that could be sent anywhere almost instantly, for free or for very little as far as transaction costs, which now is funny because it's very expensive to send. But Bitcoin, there's a whole different there's a few different ways cryptocurrencies are categorized, and it's kind of based on how they operate. But Bitcoin is pretty much supposed to be a transactionary currency. And essentially what's happening is when you hear people mining for Bitcoin, it's their computers, and their computers are all connected to this giant network. Think of it like a spider web where there's no centralized spot. Each computer is like you know, a little piece of a brain, and they're all working together. And basically when people are mining, what they're doing is their computers are racing. They're racing to do mathematical equations, and that so the first one to get the answer, then all the computers have to agree that whoever got that answer is correct. And when it's an agreement, when they're in consensus, which is the term you'll hear, then they're rewarded, and they get blockchain rewards, or they get rewards for the blocks. So at that point, people, you know, it used to be very easy to mine because there weren't so many people doing it, and there's X amount of Bitcoin that are going to be mineable, and I forget how many it is, or what they're estimating based on the time of, you know, how often or how much people are mining now, like what the year it's going to be, that there's not going to be any more mining. But at some point they will all be out there, and they'll be in circulation, and that's kind of the part to me that I never truly understood is at what point now when it ends, does the price go up, price go down, what do miners do? You know, all of this stuff is so new, and we're all kind of playing it day by day, that it's very interesting to see how things progress. But every single cryptocurrency kind of, for the most part, has its own role or its own goal, but Bitcoin in itself is just for, ideally for transactions. That's what it was created for. And then all of the other ones that have been created after that have pretty much just been people trying to upgrade or improve on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has now run into a lot of things, a lot of problems, and there's a lot of kind of arguments in the community, and the community is pretty split.
Yeah, so let's back that up a little bit, because we did kind of miss a little of the basics that I wanted to get back down
Sure.
to. Was, all right, like I said, if you guys that know me and have been around a while, I'm like an OG libertarian. I've been at this for a long time. And when it first came out, we were all like very excited because the liberty community first adopted it. They were like, man, this is a currency that is not regulated by some government. It's like nobody said it would work, and of course it worked because there's such a need. People want to have a free currency that's not controlled by politicians. So that was the first idea. But the big question was, who invented it? Because it's kind of like a big mystery. There's a big mystery, and how does it work? And what the hell's a blockchain? You know, these basic things that that noobs wouldn't understand. So to bust it back, like we're saying, there was a need that people wanted an unregulated currency, something free of a government, and that was controlled peer to peer. So how did it first start?
So essentially, there's a forum online, like a big chat area, and people had been talking about, like you said, like the libertarian movement, and trying to find a way to create freedom and balance and equality without regulation. And this guy, like you said, they don't really know. His name was Satoshi, or is Satoshi Nakamoto. They don't know who he is. You know, the name they think was a misnomer, because after a little bit of research and people analyzing the way he would write messages, they think that he probably wasn't of Asian descent, even though that's what the name alludes to. He came up with an idea of a peer-to-peer currency, and basically that means, you know, peer-to-peer as in person to person or computer to computer. And the currency was created by him, but built, once he started the idea, other people helped him build on it and create something that was a little bit more detailed. And then eventually once he felt, or what he told people, he felt more comfortable that everybody else was taking care of this, and that there was enough involvement in the community for him to step back. He stepped back, and no one still to this day has any idea who he is. But people who are involved in this project, or originally were involved in the project, were born out of other countries where I listened to an audiobook, and it's called I forget the name of it, but I'll have to drop it in the chat. And it was really what helped me understand why Bitcoin was created. And there's people that were involved in the project in the beginning who had said they knew of countries where people would get paid and they'd have to run to the bank and cash their paycheck and they would convert it to US dollars and they'd hide it in their mattress because their currency in their countries were so unstable that their paycheck by the time they ran from work to the bank could be worth more or could be worth less because their governments were so corrupt and so unstable. And so Bitcoin was born out of wanting freedom and wanting stability and equality for people who don't need it, but also people who did need it in these countries in which, you know, they couldn't send money to home to their families because the fees were too high, or you know, the money wasn't worth the same amount by the time it got there. And so those were kinds of the major issues that really created this libertarian movement of, you know, freedom of money without regulation. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's definitely going in the right direction for sure. And I just want to add a little 2 cents to that is, you know, this is funny. I have this. I found this the other day. Can you see that? It is a Zimbabwe $50 trillion bill.
Yeah.
And
yes, Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. And it's all beat up because I actually used to carry this in my wallet, the $50 trillion bill. And this is a reminder of just how governments get so ridiculous with fiat currency. So if you guys are noobs, you don't know what fiat currency it is. It means that governments can print money out of thin air. And all governments, as far as I know, do it. So there was always this, you know, one of the big complaints I always heard about cryptocurrency was like, oh, well, it doesn't exist anywhere. It's not like gold and silver. It's just printed out of thin air. It's fake money. It's digital currency. It's too risky. And I'm like, compared to what? Open your wallet. And what are you using in your wallet? You know, the Federal Reserve note in America here, it's printed out of thin air. It has no backing. It is basically digital currency on paper. It is there is nothing backing this except promises of, you know, the government's force is what's backing it. That's it. So if you compare that to cryptocurrency, you know, you're already using something really risky if you're using the Federal Reserve note, right? I mean,
correct.
It's the same argument.
Like you said, you know, the US dollar at one point was backed by gold. And I didn't, it's funny because, like I said, I knew nothing when I started kind of getting involved in this. And I still thought, you know, being very ignorant, I still thought that the US dollar was backed by gold. I didn't know. Why would I, you know, I never looked into it. And then when I started doing research and people were saying, oh, cryptocurrencies are so risky and they're so flaky and, you know, it's all speculation and this, that, and the other. Like, well, the US dollar is no longer backed by anything. It's just as speculative and just as, in theory, could be just as unstable. The only reason, you know, if Bitcoin was mass adopted to the point of the way the US dollar was or is, I do think the volatility that we see now and the issues of the instability would be resolved because it would be being used and there would be a defined, you know, amount for it that, or defined value for it. The US dollar now has gotten to the point where it's not backed by anything, but that doesn't seem like a big deal to most people because, you know, when you wake up, a dollar is always a dollar. When you go to sleep, a dollar is always a dollar. But, you know, there may come a day that's not the case.
Right. A little history lesson for you guys that are new too is there's no government that's ever survived. They all go through the same pattern where they grow, and they overgrow until they collapse. And then some new government steps in to save them and goes, oh, we'll figure it out. It's going to be different this time. It's all Charlie Brown with the football. You know, it's always going to be Lucy pulling the football going, this government will save you. And they all work the same way. They print fake money until the money becomes worthless, and then they start over with a new currency and erase the debt and it's a revolution or whatever. So the idea that because we have grown up that we assume that these green dollar bills, these greenbacks in our pockets are safe and they're normal currency, and then all we have to do is look around at these other countries. It's kind of like a super arrogant thing Americans do that we think that the dollar's indestructible. And Bitcoin is a great example, or sorry, even any cryptocurrency, of just how disruptive a currency technology can be that comes in like this. So why don't you go ahead and explain to people exactly disruptive technologies and blockchain? What is the deal? Because blockchain can be a lot more than just cryptocurrency, right?
Yes. So as I had kind of briefly, if I go on a tangent and I get off topic, stop me because I have a tendency to
I'll pull you back in. Go ahead.
Yeah, do so, please. So Bitcoin, like I said, was created for transactions and it was used and we've seen the price go up and we've seen problems and it's been disruptive because there's no way to contain it, because as I said before, it's on everybody's computers. The computers they're referred to as nodes, and basically they're just little portions of contributors that are helping to stabilize the network. The more computers connected to the Bitcoin network, the more stable it is. So if I'm over here mining Bitcoin on my computer breaks down, there's hundreds of thousands of people also mining Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin network is staying up and working because there's other people involved, not just me. So the part that I think that the governments, specifically the US, are not too keen on is the fact that it's unregulated, because that's the nature of it. And it's disrupting the fact that I can send, somebody money without there being any third party. Nobody's really taking fees. Well, now they are because of the prices, but prior to this, nobody was taking fees, and it was all hush hush and totally separate from government regulation, which, as we know, the governments don't like when something is free of regulation and they're not getting a piece of the pie. So Bitcoin disrupted everything in that sense. And then people came onto the crypto game and were like, wow, blockchain tech is really amazing. I bet there's so much more that we can do with it. And that's when something like, which I mentioned before, Ethereum was born, which is a cryptocurrency that is also a platform. It still uses blockchain tech, but it's pretty much like, if you think of like a website builder, like Wix or something like that, where you can pull in applications and you can pull in widgets and you can pull in little pieces of things that are all building on top of Wix and are helping you create a website. That's what Ethereum is. So Ethereum would be Wix, and then all of these other people are building, a term you may have heard, which is ICOs, initial coin offerings. They're like little mini projects that people are building to create things to run on this Ethereum platform. It's similar to like basically running the internet, but in a different sense because it's on blockchain tech. And there's a currency that is on Ethereum, which is called Ether, and it powers all of those little programs and apps and things that are going to be running on the network. So we went from creating just a currency now to creating a platform that people are building off of, which is Bitcoin is considered a first generation cryptocurrency. Ethereum is considered a second generation cryptocurrency. And then now we're getting into possibly third generation, but we won't see that for probably successful third gens until probably another year or so. But
all right, let me dial it back, because this is for noobs and we're starting to launch into some stuff here.
Sure.
All right, so for you noobs guys, if you missed what we're saying, is I can rehash this a little bit. And if you have questions, if you're a new person, you're like, man, I'm already lost, drop your question into the chat and I will pull it back down, because I don't know what our education level is. Because there's some people that are just coming in because they love crypto talk, and even though they're not noobs at all, they just want to watch. So they're talking in the chat, and they're arguing about stuff, and that's cool. I'm glad you're here. Thank you, and thank you for all the new follows. I really appreciate it. Big love to y'all. But for you new people, and especially as we have some people that came in late, I mean, our numbers are going up and up and up here. We are talking about cryptocurrencies new. We met ourselves on Library, and if you guys don't know what Library, I'm going to give another shout out to Library because we love them. And they actually have their own cryptocurrency, Library credits. So we met on Library, and I watched her show on Library, and I decided to bring her on and check it out. So we'll talk about Library later, but I do want to rehash a little bit. So there's a cryptocurrency, which means it's a digital currency that lives on everybody's computers that are running this program. Like, and that way, instead of it being opposite, that like all the currency information is held at one central bank or one central location where they can shift it and change it and screw with the software. This is decentralized. It's on millions of computers, so there's just no way to screw with it. And it's all open source, so everybody knows what it says. That's a decentralized network. So when Bitcoin first came out and started experimenting with this, people were using it for money. But what they found out was the blockchain technology was so powerful that it could start being used for all kinds of other cool stuff. And that's what we're talking about. Thank you for coming in. And thanks for all the bits. Jeez, everybody's just bitting, showering. They're just making it rain over here with all the bits. Thank you guys, Josh. And Voyo and Jiggy Tom, thank you guys. I love y'all. So I wanted to get back to just the basics, and then if you guys are, we're going to accelerate a little further out. So Bitcoin comes out. Bitcoin is like the grandfather of the proof of concept coin. it gets very popular, but now it's getting close to what, like 10 years old, and it's showing its age. It was kind of
Yes.
like an experiment. It was the first one out. It would be like if you had an internet browser and you were using Netscape, or AOL browser, and then Google
Internet
comes
Explorer.
out, and now libraries coming out is like the third gen. It's very old technology, but it's just getting mass adoption. But there's a lot of problems with Bitcoin, so people are starting to look at other coins. And man, they're just making it rain. I feel like I'm on a dance here for all the.
What are bits exactly?
The bits are when you become an affiliate on Twitch, they are a way people tip you. So
Oh, cool.
they're the biddies. So people are just dropping them, and they like what we're saying. So we're
Well,
gonna
that's
keep
good.
talking. They're distracting me. They're laughing because they're distracting me so much. So for you guys, if you're just tuning in, you're lost on what this crypto stuff is. Drop a message if we start going too fast. So
Yeah, I have a
Bitcoin
tendency to talk a bit fast too. I'm trying to slow down.
Bitcoin comes out. It is a digital currency. People agree to use it, but there is no real value behind it except people agreeing to use it as a medium. And
Correct.
well, there's value behind it that you have to mine it to get it, and by doing that, you have to run a computer program, and you randomly get, depending on if you solve a math equation or something, you randomly get a Bitcoin. So there is, I guess, like an electrical value to this. There is labor that needs to be done. It's not just completely out of thin air. You have to create it by mining it. Now, a lot of currencies do this, and I'm curious about the new currencies coming out. Like we'll talk about something like library coins and stuff. There are currencies that just are currencies to be used. Like Bitcoin doesn't have anything behind it except it's a currency. But then there's currencies that are built for purposes to be used on platforms like library or whatever. Can you explain that there's different kinds of currencies, how they work?
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like, it's just like, I'm trying to think of an example. So streaming platforms, right? Twitch, YouTube, any other, or chat rooms, you can use Discord, you can use Slack, you can use Facebook Messenger. There's all different kinds of ways to get to from point A to point B. But it's a matter of how people choose to use it, or what they choose to kind of, trying to think of how to word this. So can you maybe re-ask me the question in a different way?
Sure.
Because I'm like,
No problem. This is part of the fun of live streaming is I got to stomp her. Everybody, did you all see that?
yeah.
So my question is this. There are coins coming out, and there are multiple coins. There's probably, what, like 1,000 different coins at this point or something? So
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
they take this blockchain technology, and then they design a coin that does something special around that technology. And so what happens is there's some coins that are tied intimately with projects. Something like a library coin isn't a coin just to make money. It actually drives the library system to work. And then there's coins that are like Bitcoin that platforms use as currency and pass it around, but it's not tangled into something to make it work. You know what I mean? There's coins that do something, and then there's coins that actually don't do anything except be coins.
Yes.
So could you explain that a little further?
Okay, so Bitcoin, like I said, was created for transactions, and there are other coins out there since then that have been created for that purpose. Some people think that because Bitcoin hasn't been successful, or it's like a highway at this point. Cars keep coming on because transactions keep getting added to the network, and it's getting a little congested, and it's slowing down. So some people have chosen the option of trying to create transactionary currencies to not replace Bitcoin necessarily, but give people other options. So, and then there's other currencies, like you said, with library credits and platforms like Library, where you can, or Steam It, which is like a website similar to Reddit, if anybody knows what Reddit is, where you use their platform and you are getting paid, you can get paid to use it, but the platform is also powered by the cryptocurrency. And it gives the project the ability to use the cryptocurrency so that people can, like, on Twitch, where you can tip in some sort of imaginary money and run a platform off that, but also have a reason for people to want to invest in the project and be a part of the project because it has more need than just it being a transactionary coin. It also powers the project and can be used from person to person within the platform. And that gives people an incentive to want to be a part of the platform and also the currency. So I think that those kinds of projects, like I mentioned before, Ethereum, which does a very similar thing, it can be used as transaction for money to be sent from person to person if you want, but it is also powering the platform and powering other projects built on that platform.
Got it. So I hope that guys answered your question. That there are different kinds of coins that do different kinds of things. Some are just used as money. Some actually power platforms. And if you're brand new and you look at Twitch and people are throwing these little imaginary bits at me, I actually get paid from those bits. Twitch takes a little of that money and I take a little of that money and we split it. And you're using a cryptocurrency right now. It is digital money. You're making it rain on me. And that is an example of, like how I was saying, sort of kind of how like library works or something like that, where it's a coin that makes a platform work. And so these bits, like I can't take these bits out of Twitch and do anything with them. You know, Twitch pays me in these things. So you kind of get that. And also on Twitch, you guys will also see that, you know how you can play games in here. On my, in my stream, because you guys are Twitch stream, you come to Twitch, you can play things like bingo. And what I mean by that is in Twitch, I run something called Stream Elements that lets me create my own cryptocurrency. So Stream Elements lets me create a coin. And since my last name is Lupo, I made them called Loopies. Like, kind of like, well, the Canadian coin was loonies. So I was like, okay, Loopies. So I decided to do Loopies. And you get Loopies for every 10 minutes you sit here and watch. You get 5 Loopies. So right now, if you put exclamation point Loopies, you'll see how much you've earned by just sitting here. That's kind of how like mining works. If you have a mining program going around, it will eventually give you a coin of whatever you're mining. With Twitch, you're actually using all this right now and you don't realize it. You're using cryptocurrency right now. You're getting my Loopies, which is my dollars, where you can take these Loopies and spend them at my store on Twitch for things, or you can use bits. So you don't have to be scared. You're actually using them all the time, and it is LUP, not that kind of Loopies, Tracy, like this. It is LUPIES, Loopies. If you do that, it tells you where you are on the leaderboard and how many you have. Now, I don't have any because they don't pay me in my own currency. There you go. People are starting to play with it. And you can play things like if you want to play roulette, you'll put, or bingo, you can be like, exclamation point, roulette, 30 Loopies and bet them and see if you win. So you guys are already playing with cryptocurrencies. You don't need to be scared because you're already like, you don't realize that you're doing it on Twitch every day. The only difference is these are bigger money, bigger numbers, and a little harder to earn. So if someone wants to start, okay, someone's listening and they're like, all right, I kind of understand what this is. I keep hearing people talk about it. I feel like I missed the boat. I'm a little scared. What do you tell people? Like, where do you start? What's the first thing you do?
Do you mean where do you start as far as educating yourself, or if you physically actually want to start purchasing?
I'm assuming that they've educated themselves enough. Now, they say, okay, I'm willing to put a little money in. Now, what advice would you give them? How much should they put in? That kind of thing. Like, how do they start?
So there are a handful of websites that are active right now that are pretty reliable. And I'd say for people getting involved in, now or in the last year, we're at an advantage because cryptocurrencies are a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more accepted. And the websites in which you can purchase them as a side effect of that have become a little bit more reliable. So if you want to buy, obviously my advice is always never invest or purchase more than you're willing to lose. Go in with the mindset that this is all speculation and there's always a possibility that something could go wrong and that in theory, the price could drop, whatever it might be. So always be aware of that and be realistic about the kind of money that you're willing to invest. But if you are at that point where you've come to a conclusion and you've put away a little bit of money that you've opted to throw into cryptocurrencies, my advice would be to go to either Coinbase, which is a website where you can buy Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Ethereum, which are kind of the bigger ones now, or Gemini, which is another website is actually built by and created by the Winklevoss twins, the guys who kind of lost out on Facebook. They're big into cryptocurrencies. So I say these two because there's two layers to this. If you have experience, say, trading, or you have experience with the stock market and you're buying because you want to immediately move that cryptocurrency somewhere else and maybe trade with it, Coinbase would be the place that you would want to buy it on because you link your debit card and the purchase can be instant. So you'll get the cryptocurrency immediately and you can take it off the website. You can transfer it somewhere else if you want to trade or do something else with it. But the fees are a little bit higher because of, I think, the convenience of it. And then the other one that I had mentioned, Gemini, when you purchase it, you have to hold the cryptocurrency on the site for like 4 or 5 days until the purchase clears, which means that you don't have immediate access to move the currency. So if you're buying because you just want to buy and hold, the fees are lower on Gemini, but the trade-off is that you can't move it off the site immediately. So what I normally do when I used to trade, I'd buy a lot on Coinbase because I could move it immediately. But now that I'm not trading and I'm buying and storing, I usually buy it on Gemini because I don't really mind that I have to wait 4 or 5 days for it to move because I'm not doing anything except holding it anyways.
Okay.
That means,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Just to rehash, two main platforms is now Coinbase. You can actually like link it to your debit card or credit card, right? And you can buy it directly because that was a big problem when cryptocurrency first got started. No one would take it on credit card, but I guess Coinbase does now. And then Gemini has less fees, but they take a lot longer to process. Those are the two ones. Okay.
That's the trade-off. I mean, there's other ones too, but those are the most reliable. And I think as my friend Brett has just mentioned in the chat, Coinbase is also insured, which is very rare in the crypto community. So that's a little bit more, a little food for thought.
Now, being a libertarian, and kind of, I really don't want the government in my business. Do all these things link to your accounts, and do you have to keep track of your trading, or can you still do like dark crypto?
So that's a great question. So now, yes, there's very few ways. There are ways to go about it being entirely private. There's a coin that I promote that I'm actually working with. It's an altcoin called Pivx, and they're very much into privacy transactions. But as far as the main purchases go on Coinbase and Gemini, and if you're buying the main regular transactions or the regular cryptocurrencies on those sites, that is attached to your bank account information. They make you have to do regulatory things like put in your information, your social, and things like that to sign up. So they do that because it reduces risk for them to know who their customers are, and that's kind of the trade-off for how you get insurance and things like that for Coinbase, because they need to be in compliance with other regulatory bodies in the United States, right? So a couple of years ago, it was easier to get things and not have it linked to you. But now if you're buying on one of those major sites, it would be something that would be taxable, and you would have to kind of claim at the end of the year.
Yeah, and there seems to be a big split with that, because a lot of reason people got into cryptocurrency in the first place was to not, give all their information to the government. And then, so there is a divide in the cryptocurrency market, I think, of people that want to keep it private and secure, and then other people that want it regulated. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And, when they created Bitcoin and Bitcoin became popular, everybody was like, oh, it's anonymous because, your address that you store it and the information that you give people to send you cryptocurrencies are just a random string of numbers and letters, and nobody's going to know who that's attached to. Well, eventually there's these things now called forensic cryptographers, I think the word is, and they are hired specifically to do forensic research on crypto addresses. And basically what that means is you had said, the blockchain is public. So if I sent you $50 worth of Bitcoin, the nature of Bitcoin is that it's all recorded on a public ledger that you can access online and see, okay, that is a confirmation. Alex sent $50 worth of Bitcoin, and you can see that. And they used to think that it wasn't traceable, but now to a certain, if you buy Bitcoin off Coinbase and you have a program on your computer that stores it, a wallet, and you send it to that address, and then you send it to somebody else. Well, if the cryptographers are smart enough, they can see that your address on Coinbase continues to send Bitcoin to your wallet address on your computer, and then from your wallet address, they can see who else you're sending it to. Although there's no names, the addresses, for the most part, they change now. They change them now, but they used to be static addresses. So it was something that was much easier to trace because the addresses weren't changing. And just because they're a string of numbers, although to the human eye, they may look confusing, there are patterns, obviously, that people can pick up on. So that's part of the reason why Bitcoin is controversial, is you're saying that there's a divide, because there's libertarian movement that Bitcoin started for privacy and for anonymity. And now we're finding that it's not so private and not so anonymous, because the same reason that it's popular and people like it for the public ledger aspect of being able to see all of the transactions publicly being sent always, it's the same reason that it can be traced. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
And there are technologies for Liberty folks that want privacy. There still are technologies out there. Like I had Cody Wilson on the show a while back, and I had asked him about his dark wallet project and stuff like that, where, you know, there are things out there. It's just not as easy to do. It's kind of like jumping through hoops to keep your privacy, where it used to be, you know, people didn't even know what Bitcoin was. They didn't take it serious, and it was easy to have privacy. I mean, the first time I ever used it, people were walking around PorkFest, and I actually got the coins, the physical coins. People were trading back and forth. There were Bitcoins where they had printed addresses on holographic coins, physical coins, to get people to try to use them. It's crazy.
Yes.
I wish I had kept those things.
For your new viewers or people who have no experience with crypto, Bitcoin is it's an internet currency. It's a non-tangible item. So if you see people, like, there's images online where people would do write-ups or do articles about cryptocurrencies. There's this bee on a gold coin that they use as like a stock image. I just want to clarify that there is no physical currency. There are people, like you said, that did print the keys into the coins, and they were able to give them to people to promote Bitcoin at one point. But as far as like overall currency goes, there is no actual physical Bitcoin that you can go out and buy. So if somebody is saying, hey, come buy my Bitcoin, and they hand you a gold B coin, don't buy it, because it's probably not Bitcoin.
Yeah, I remember people were always like, people would get busted, and they'd be like, we're going to take his Bitcoin, and where are your Bitcoins? Where are you storing them in your house? They had no clue they were digital currency.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. And somebody, one of your viewers had mentioned Silk Road, so if you don't mind, I'd like to just do a quick... Glenn Aldbrook is a friend of the show, and I've interviewed her, so sure. You want to talk about Ross? Sure. So Silk Road was a website that was created to, buy things that were illegal, unfortunately, mostly drugs and other things. And people originally started using Bitcoin because, again, it was sort of anonymous at that time, because these people that could look and do research on the ledger and figure out who was sending Bitcoin to whom didn't exist yet. So people would use Bitcoin to buy illegal things on this website, and it became this huge thing, and they were searching for months to find this guy that was running the website, and eventually they did find him. But Bitcoin became famous originally because of Silk Road and because of the illegal kind of activities that were going on around it. So people who were around when Bitcoin first started coming into the scene have a bad taste in their mouth, I think, a little bit about it. And that's probably part of the reason why it's been so hard to mainstream crypto, is because originally the first way people found out about it was for illegal uses and dishonest purchasing of items over kind of like the dark net, basically.
Well, it depends how you view on it. What do you mean dishonest? There was a transaction, and it was a free transaction.
I mean, I guess dishonest as in it wasn't controllable.
Yeah,
and that's what people were upset about.
That was the point of a lot of it being made, was to have a place where you could have a free market without government regulations. Yes. So to certain people, it's a beautiful free market, and other people, it's an unregulated drug den. So it depends on your point of view of what if you think money should be controlled or not. So
agreed.
That is you're going to see two different camps in the Bitcoin community, but most likely right now you're going to hear more of a mainstream camp. I think they've taken over that. That they want to make money and they want it regulated and all that, but you're always going to have the hardcore liberty camp that was like, hey man, this currency was to free us, and now we're just like saying, please regulate us. So you'll hear different arguments, but you can still have both with this, I believe. Different cryptos for different. It's like different strokes, There you
Absolutely,
go.
And that's why. And the cool part about Obviously it's kind of sucks that people have come up with so many different ways that they want, problems that Bitcoin's supposed to solve, and they're so divided. But the division in that community has created people and projects, really awesome people and projects, and other cryptocurrencies and other great ideas out there. So I think, although Bitcoin, for what it's worth, has been successful, I don't think necessarily it's going to continue to solve the problem that it was originally supposed to solve, which is, transactions, because it's kind of backed up and slow now. But the idea that all of these other projects were born out of that is really very cool. And I think that it's a pretty amazing thing to think over the course of just a few years, really where the crypto community has come and gone to.
So what do you think for a noob, and they want to start out, you've told them kind of where to go with Coinbase, and like, where do they find out information about what coins they start with, and how do they pick a coin?
So that's really dependent on, to me, it was when I first started. And like I said, I saw Bitcoin's price and I was like, man, I think I missed the boat. So I looked on Coinbase and I saw, okay, well, Ethereum and Litecoin, two other cryptocurrencies, were listed there. So I started there. I was like, what are these two coins? What do these coins do? What is the project about? And from there, I picked what I thought was more interesting. And for me, price point was always important, because Bitcoin, although I thought, okay, it's going to go up and I could make money, I just didn't like the idea that I couldn't buy, a whole Bitcoin. Whereas when I first started buying Ethereum, it was $17. So I could buy a whole one, and you can buy them in fractions too. But for me, visually, I wanted to be able to buy a full coin. So it really depends on what people's goals are. If they, if you want to buy something small that's maybe a little bit riskier and invest money because you think you can buy more, that's one option. If you want to buy portions of something, Ethereum and Bitcoin have both skyrocketed, so now they're more expensive, but they're a little bit safer of bets, because to me, the coins that are listed on Coinbase and Gemini, those are going to be the entry-level coins that people are always going to buy, at least for the foreseeable future. So I personally think those are safer bets, because everybody's going to be going into that first. And a very, very small portion of the world are invested in cryptos. And so I think that there's so much room to grow. It's just a matter of doing a research on, the major coins that you can buy on a reliable website, and figuring out what ones you think are better projects, or things that you think that are worth putting money into. And from that point, investing what you're comfortable investing.
Okay, so let's bring some questions in here.
Sure.
Haptronic says, the questions I have are, number one, is it true that people trying to cash in now are coming out unable to cash out their currency? So they buy this and they can't get it out?
No. Well, I should
maybe Steam it, but
yes. So, Steam it is a little bit particular, because they seem to lock stuff up. To be entirely honest with you, I'm not really 100% sure how that works. But if you have, a major cryptocurrency, you can buy it and sell it on Coinbase and get USD back, and then you can pull that off directly. So the major ones you can absolutely sell and get your money back. Whether you invest now, or you invested a year ago, or you're going to invest in a year, those major sites give you the opportunity and the availability to buy and sell and transfer out USD. So that's part of the reason why I push those major sites, because, for someone who's maybe a little bit nervous or a little skittish, you can get your money out of those sites.
And his second part of the question, I'm not exactly sure I understand it, but maybe you get it. And I don't know if you can read the questions here, but it's Haptronic's question. What do you think will happen when I only accept Loopies and will only exchange them at 33% the rate? So I think he's asking, if someone creates their own currency, can they lock like a crazy exchange rate on it?
I mean, I guess they could, but it really wouldn't behoove them to do so, because as
you've seen, use it, right?
Well, who would want to use it? But also, you're stifling yourself, because let's say, the Loopies end up taking off, right? And you're doing really well. If you had said, okay, each one is $30, and you just left it at that, well, then you're not allowing for possible inflation and, increasing a value of the coin. So you're not doing yourself any justice. So that's kind of the wonderful thing about cryptocurrencies, is that it doesn't benefit people really to manipulate the price, because the market chooses the price and what they think is, what's going to be the best amount, or what it deserves to be valued at, pretty much. And, locking in a price it's not really going to people who are into cryptocurrencies aren't also into the idea of people dictating prices. So chances are if you lock in a price for your coin, it's not going to be very popular.
Okay, the next question I have, Ghetto Mug has ask her thoughts on Cardano.
Sure.
He's a creator, a Ron Paul guy. So I don't know anything about Cardano. You want to tell us what that is?
So remember when you had asked me if I had done a live show before, and I said the only other one was this guy that's pretty well known in the crypto community.
Okay.
He worked on the project for Ethereum, but he's also now like the lead guy for Cardano. And this is a little, I'm going to try to kind of skim over this because it's a little bit heavy, but Cardano is what I had referenced prior, is a third generation cryptocurrency. So it's trying to do what Bitcoin is doing, which, you know, could be for transactions, and it's trying to do what Ethereum is doing, which is creating platforms to be able to build off of. But it's also trying to do much more than that by creating, they want to bring like banking to people in countries that have no access to the internet and have no access to like stable bank environments and stable governments. And they're trying to create a movement really to improve in crypto, improve the world. My interview with him is about 2 hours long, but he's really about improving people's lives, and the project is about making everybody equal and allowing everybody to have the same opportunities. He said that Cardano's goal basically is just because, you know, if you were born in a country that doesn't have a great government, it's not fair for you to not have the same you know, chances or same ability to succeed in life like someone who maybe who was born in the US and happens to just be in a better country. It's not fair that we don't all have the same kind of ability to grow and improve our own lives. And so Cardano is trying to kind of level the playing field for people in the most like basic way I can explain that.
Well, maybe we'll have to have him on and explain it more as well. But
he would love to do that. Actually,
yeah.
He does all kinds of interviews with people. He's a very, very friendly guy.
Yeah, your interview was. I watched a little of it. I just didn't quite understand it that well. But yeah,
he's very smart. Yeah.
There's a question coming in. Tracy was talking about how I feel about international. Like, you know, we're talking, and a lot of the stuff we're talking about are U.S. problems. Mm-hmm. Other countries have other problems with cryptocurrency. And you know what's kind of cool is what's starting to happen is some countries are making their own cryptocurrency, like, you know, like an Argentina coin or whatever, where a lot of people in one country have decided to use this specific crypto. And I think, in my opinion, it has benefits and it has side effects. The U.S. is so absolutely ridiculously over the top regulated, where if you go do crypto in another country, you might not have any of these problems. You know,
yes.
So it depends on. I want to throw that question to you. What about crypto in the rest of the world?
So I haven't done too much research on that, to be honest, only because it doesn't necessarily affect me directly. But I know that there are countries that are much more lenient. There's countries that don't really care much about needing to put in bank information or needing to put in personal identifiers to link you to it, that they are much more lenient. The U.S. obviously is a little bit more stringent on those things, or much more stringent, I should say, because I think that they're so focused on their bottom line as far as money goes. But as you had mentioned, other countries making their own cryptocurrencies, there's obviously going to be two sides to that. But I think that might be a good idea, because if it is decentralized and it really is a true cryptocurrency, it might be smart for governments to kind of remove some of themselves from that. And they, as we had discussed before, you know, governments fall and banks fail and things like that happen. We've been doing the same thing for so many years, and if nothing is improving, if countries are trying to move into blockchain tech, that's an entirely new thing. You know, that could change the success and the stability of governments and countries going forward. So yeah. I think it's a good thing to try. It's, you know, it's a good experiment for sure. You know, nobody knows how it's going to go, but yeah, European and other country regulations is not something I'm really very well versed on.
Well, I do want to say that when Bitcoin first came out, one of the big selling points was it was international. There's a lot of issues about, say I want to expat and I want to leave this country. How do I bring my wealth without losing it all to regulations and taxes and bunches of BS? So people would sell their assets, put it in Bitcoin, go to another country and cash it back out. And it was driving like governments crazy that they could actually bring their entire wealth with them. They didn't have to give it all away to leave the country. So, there is going to be a lot of freedom that I think a lot of countries want to control but can't, because I think every regulation they put in place, they're just going to create another platform that works around it, and it'll move a lot
Yeah,
faster.
for sure.
So I think it'll end up being some sort of mix of regulated and non-regulated coins in the future.
Yeah, more than likely.
I think so. So let's see. Oh, Phil, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Philorano. What do you think about all the digital content, coins like library and such, especially after YouTube's last changed to the system?
Yes,
I've
so
definitely,
actually,
yeah, you go start
sorry,
with
go
that.
ahead.
No. You start with that one because I got an opinion on it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually have an opinion on it too. So as I had mentioned before, I have a YouTube that I started prior to this crypto one. And I was monetized and I was, making very little money, but I just thought it was a cool idea. And I'm like, this is fun to be a part of a community and make content, free content and have people watch. And then I made this YouTube and I hit that threshold that I could, in theory, monetize. And I had contacted YouTube because it'd been a couple weeks and then a month and then 2 months, and they had never turned on monetization. And to me, it wasn't about the money. It was about the fact that they had promised, us as content creators, people who are bringing people to their platform and bringing views and bringing traffic, they're not standing by us. And I was pretty disappointed in the fact that I had not gotten approved, and my application or whatever wasn't approved for monetization. And then I woke up a couple days ago to an email from YouTube saying, oh, P.S., we've changed the monetization requirements, so your other YouTube channel, AW Productions, is no longer eligible to be monetized. So I was like, wow, not only did they not monetize my channel that's been capable to do that for months now they've removed monetization for my other channel because I didn't meet the requirements. And, it's just really unfortunate that we don't have more freedom. So that's why I like Library. And although, it is still new and it's definitely growing and there's improvements and things that they're working on, I think the idea behind it is awesome, because as a content creator, I want to have the least amount of boundaries between me and the people that are watching my show, or maybe people that want to contribute. And considering you and I, we're both making this content ourselves, I don't think it's fair for a third-party platform to have so much say in what we're doing and how we're spreading our information, or what kind of compensation we're allowed if people want to donate. It just doesn't seem fair. So I'm a big supporter for projects like Steemit, projects like Library, and there's a couple other websites out there that are trying to do something kind of similar to YouTube. I think that is a huge gap that needs to be filled, and when someone does it successfully, they're going to be very, very profitable, because YouTube is definitely disenfranchising people very quickly, I think.
Yeah. Now, for you guys that maybe don't know me, or this is the first time you've ever seen me, I actually have a pretty decent sized YouTube platform. I've been there about 9 years, and I have a love-hate relationship with YouTube. It's like dating a bipolar girlfriend. Like, she gives and she takes, and you just don't know what she's going to do. Like, I'll have a great month on YouTube, and then they'll change an algorithm, and I'll have just a horrible thing. And then, like, I'm finally making a living on YouTube as a full-time content creator, and then the adpocalypse hits, and the next month I'm making a third of what I used to. It's very, very up and down, and this is a hard lesson. I wrote an article about this that's going up on the library community website that's about to come out, and the article is basically like, I've learned my lesson the hard way. If you're trying to start a business, especially as a content creator, I have done this over and over, that I would build a website on Google AdSense, and I would, design it around the algorithms, and then the algorithms would change, and that website wouldn't work anymore, and I couldn't get it to recover. So then I would go to Amazon and write a book, and I would do really well for a year and make money, and then Amazon would change its algorithms, can't recover, can't get it back. Then I decided to make Facebook groups and start promoting businesses. I get a huge Facebook group, Facebook changes the algorithm, lose thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people in my groups. They're like, nope, groups are gone now. You have to pay to talk to your audiences. Gone. And then I'm like, ah. Then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll finally give YouTube a try. YouTube's going well. Build up this YouTube audience. One day somebody complains that says I have porno on my channel. I don't, but they said they do. I lose my live streaming, and it's like, okay, so when am I going to learn my damn lesson on stop building my business on other platforms I don't control? So that's why I'm looking forward to something like Library, where it is community controlled. There's not a business that is running Library. Now there's a business that makes the app that runs on the Library protocol, but that's not the Library protocol. So if I build a business this time, it's going to be on a platform that can't get screwed with mysterious algorithms and corporate interests. And that's why I'm excited about it. And I'm super excited that the Library coin is doing pretty good. The LBC, I think since I've watched, it's gone up from like 20 cents to over $1. So
yeah, it is doing really
it's
well.
doing all right. So we kind of got way off on that one here. Okay. Guys, I'm trying to keep up with your questions, but there's a lot coming in, so I'm going back a little bit. Moopaloo, I hear that buying full coins is so motivating. You can make a profit by using that information. Do you worry about this sort of speculation?
I don't really. So buying full coins, I'm not sure I entirely understand the question.
I think he means that, is it like, a lot of people like buying penny stocks, cryptocurrencies where you were saying, it feels psychologically better to own an entire coin than, oh, I own, 1/50th of a Bitcoin. It's like, oh, okay, yes. I own 50 Litecoins. He's saying, do you think people will manipulate that fact to try to get, I think that's where he's going with that.
I think, when a project starts, if you're buying something that's brand new, you're investing in a new project, obviously the price is going to be very, very low and you're going to be able to get a lot of coins. But, the nature of Bitcoin, the nature of blockchain tech is that eventually, it takes on a mind of its own in its own market, and the price is decided based on the community and people buying and selling. So I don't know if there's necessarily a way for people to manipulate it, from a psychological aspect to make people want to invest in it more because the price is cheaper. I think once the project takes off on its own and the price is going to go where it wants to go, regardless of, what the project developers want or what the people who are investing want, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like anything, sometimes it's just popularity. I remember, there was a guy that made a coin way back in the day called a Dogecoin. It had a picture of his dog on it. And he liked his dog, so he made a coin just as a proof of concept that, hey, you can use the blockchain to make your own coins. He was like one of the first guys. Well, everybody was like, oh, the Dogecoin's so cute. And they start buying it because it's so dirt cheap. And then they do a fundraiser and they buy a bobsled for the the Jamaican bobsled team. They cash out the Dogecoins and buy a bobsled. So these Jamaicans are like, what the hell's Dogecoin? They have no idea, but they're grateful to have it. So just the fact that someone put a cute dog picture and it became kitsch and there was all these memes about it, drove the coin, even though the coin really did nothing. It was just Dogecoin.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because when I first got into crypto, I kind of was wildly just buying stuff because I didn't really know what I was doing. But I bought Doge based on the fact that I like the meme. I thought it was funny. It was like fractions of a penny, so it wasn't even really like buying anything. And I still have it. I have 490 Doge that I keep as a collector's item. To me, it's just fun. It's like having a $2 bill.
Right, it's fun. And I love it because I want to buy some Doge just because I like, and I'm sure someone has it, maybe but I'm like cat stupid. I love cats and they're all over my page and you'll see cats everywhere. So I'm wondering if there's a cat coin. I'm sure there is.
There probably is. Yeah, Off the top of my head, I'm not certain, but I'm sure that there's got to be.
Again, I'd just probably buy it for just so I could say to people, hey, I tipped you in cat coin.
Yeah,
just for giggles. But I don't know if that's what you want to base real value on. But it's funny, with cryptocurrency, you can do stuff like that. It's there can be a silly factor that takes off.
Yeah, it's fun, and that's the thing about it is there's no cookie cutter way to do it. There's no directions, there's no rules, there's no anything. You could just, if you have a team and you're smart enough to make a project and you have a good idea, it's really the options and the ideas and everything. It's limitless. You can really do anything with it, and that's the coolest part about this stuff to me. Is like I said, a year ago, I knew nothing about crypto. I didn't have this YouTube channel. My Twitter was inactive. I had like 50 followers on it, and in a year, I've created something out of nothing because crypto existed, which was also something out of nothing. And it's, I've met amazing people along the way. I've been doing cool interviews and talking to people, and I just think the whole culture of it is really unbelievable. And I think that's probably part of the reason why it's lasted so long and why it just continues to get stronger, is because this is like to me, it seems like a once in a generation or once in a lifetime thing, what we're experiencing now.
Yeah, it's definitely, we're gonna look back at this 10 years from now and be like, damn, why did I sit on my hands? This is really the birth of, because everybody feels like they've already missed. Like I feel like I've already missed it. I'm not a whale. I'm not willing to pay the money it takes to be a whale at Steam It. I feel like that, I was an early adopter of Bitcoin, but I cashed out early. I didn't hold it as long as I should. I've been in it, but I feel like there's still going to be things, something like Verge, where people could put in $100 and make $1 million over a year. There's still going to be some weird things like that happening.
Yeah, absolutely. There always is.
There's always some. But as far as picking it, man, wow, it's almost like gambling or use a psychic or whatever. And then what I would say is that, when I was actually successful with stocks is I picked stuff I used and knew. So like I liked Dell computers back in the day, so I bought Dell. I like library. I'll buy library. I pick stuff I use that if you know these coins and you're like, okay, I use a gambling site that uses this coin and the gambling site's doing really well, I'm going to do this site. I mean, wouldn't you think that's kind of
I would. It's all about being comfortable and understanding stuff. Because if you don't understand what you're buying and you see the price go down and you're not passionate or feeling strongly about the project and you don't know enough to be sure that you feel like it's going to be successful, it's really hard not to get shaky hands and sell a project and lose out on money. So, doing your research, seeing if, there's a project out there that you find interesting. Like, to me, I really think my personal opinion is over the next year, because of the tax changes again in the US, just speaking about the US, but the tax changes and the issues with, privacy and things like that, I do think that privacy coins, real, true, honest privacy coins, are going to be very important in the next coming year or two, because Bitcoin created a currency, but now we need to create a currency that also has the ability to actually be anonymous, because there's always going to be that need. So finding something that you think is going to fill a niche, or something that you understand well enough to feel strongly about the project, that's what's important. You want to do your research and really understand something from the ground level so that you can feel confident in the fact that you're putting your money into it.
Excellent point. Guys, I have missed a bunch of your questions because I was stuck reading the older questions. If I did not answer something and it's really important, repeat the question, please. I'm not trying to ignore you on purpose. Also, you guys are Ghetto Mug and Tracy keep raining biddies all over me. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I missed you dropping a biddy. My apologies, because I'm trying to focus on my guest and sometimes I miss it. So if you dropped me biddies and I didn't mention your name, I feel pretty crappy about that. So please, let me know and I'll give you a shout out. Thank you. There's lots of questions coming in. If you want to take one, if you see one you'd like to answer, go ahead.
I was just scrolling up to see if I could find anything.
Yeah, feel free. Until then, I'll just blab. If you guys are just coming in, you're the first time you've ever been to my show. I host a variety show on all different kinds of topics. I mainly, in the spring and stuff, I'll focus on self-sufficiency stuff, like how to grow your own food and gardening and those kind of topics. But I do anything that improves your life. All these types of stories that I have, sometimes we're just on here having fun, doing nothing, screwing around. But everything always revolves in a positive manner. I got tired because I was a liberty activist of every time I tune into the news, it's depressing and it makes me upset. And I got so sick of it that I just kind of checked out. And I now focus only on information that builds me up and builds you up. I don't want to watch a show where I feel worse than when I started. So whatever the topic be on here, you're always going to feel better. That is my guarantee. If not, I'll pay you loopies. You'll get some loopies.
I'm not seeing any questions here. I guess the Cardano was the one that I
the Cardano, which I had never heard of except for the show that you did on it. And there's lots of coins coming out, guys. If you go look, there's tons of coins. And you just kind of, there's tons and tons and tons of shows about it. Obviously, I have my favorite right here, Crypto Candor.
Yeah.
But you're not really that much of a speculation show, are you? I mean, yeah, sorta. I guess I've heard you talk about a couple coins and stuff you like. So
I mean, speculate to me, that's what people ask me a lot. They're like, what should I buy? Are you ever going to do like trading analysis? Well, probably not, because I myself was not a great trader. I was always a good student in school because I like to research and I like to sit down and learn. So to me, my skill is really kind of nose to the grindstone about getting information and being relatively well versed on a topic enough that I can try to help people learn about it. So I want to be you know, the channel that people go to when they're looking for information, non-biased, just factual, you know, true, honest information about a project. And at the end, I'll normally say, if I, you know, if I think from my perspective, if there's a place for it in crypto, if I think that it's going to be a good project, my opinions on the team, you know, how people reacted, the community, because I think it says a lot when you go into a chat room to try to ask questions about a project, and you ask, hey, what do you think your weaknesses are? What are the things that you need to improve upon in this project? And people say nothing. That to me is a red flag. So I want to bring stuff like that to light, because I think not everybody has the time or the means to go about educating themselves on all these projects. So I want to do that. I want to bridge that gap and help people, you know, if it cuts 2-3 hours out of their day so that they can go do something else because they watched my 10-minute video and they feel like they fully grasped like Ethereum or Cardano or something like that, then I feel like I was.
What happened? Are you okay?
What? Why? Something
Oh,
wrong?
no, you know, you just stopped mid-sentence. I was asking if...
Oh, no, I was just saying I just want to be that bridge to that gap, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know,
so that's...
crypto's intimidating. It's scary. It was very scary. When I didn't know how to send Bitcoin, I didn't know what an address was. I was not, you know, I didn't know when I sent something that it was going to turn up. It's just, it's all very hard to wrap your head around if you've never had any experience with it.
Yeah, it's surprising that, because, you know, you hear this stuff and you're like, everybody's making money on crypto but me, and I feel like I should get in. But what you don't hear is a lot of people are losing money on crypto too.
Oh,
They
yeah,
think they know
100%.
what they're doing. You know, I'm more of a fan of, I don't trade. I just sit on coins I like until they go up, and then I slowly buy stuff with them. It's gotten to the point, though, where Bitcoin's so expensive to use that I'm tempted to just cash out my Bitcoin and move it into something I can actually use it. I did a transaction where it was like, I don't know, like $30 or something, and there was like a $30 fee to do it. I mean, it was like ridiculous. And I want to move my money out because I feel like I'm trapped by fees now.
You are. I am too. Somebody tipped me $20 in Bitcoin to my desktop wallet, so I have $20 worth of Bitcoin in my wallet on my computer, and I can't move it because the fees are $18. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll just let it sit there until it gets itself figured out because it's a waste.
Jeez,
you know, I like, it's like, okay, so now I have $2. Cool. Like, what do you even? And then at that point, if you go to like cash it out somewhere, you're not going to hit the payment threshold of $2, so you may as well just hang on to it.
Yeah, that is some silly stuff. Hey, Veggie Poet, thanks for following me. Thank all you guys that have followed me on Twitch. This is really big. I appreciate it. I don't, just in case you're coming, though, I don't talk about crypto every show or something. I'm not a crypto show, but I do self-empowerment stuff, and I think crypto's very empowering. I think running your own money and taking care of your stuff outside of some corporate entity or some government is very empowering. If you have any questions, I know you have a time limit. I have another guest I wanted to bring on. Sharon, if you're here, I haven't seen you in chat at all. So, Sharon, if you're not chatting, I didn't know if you're here or not. If you want to come on, let's bring you on. But otherwise,
yeah, I gotta run.
Yeah, she's gonna have to run. We'll have to bring her back another day. Would you come back on the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I want to do some more. There's obviously a popular topic. There's a lot of people here to hang out.
Yeah, I'm really happy that, you know, I'm answering questions and people are here talking about it, and that's kind of, you know, that's the whole idea, at least. So I think this was a cool concept. Your site, my site, kind of bridging the gap there.
Yeah, let's do some more library on library violence. It'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that. Oh wow, we got someone hosting our stream. Thank you, Hosted Radio. Much appreciated. Very cool of you.
Cool.
If you guys are new to Twitch, by the way, make sure that you also, Crypto Candor is reviving her Twitch. She used to be here, and now I'm trying to like prod her, and I'm like, you know, Twitch is pretty cool. Come over here. And so you just woke your channel up from the sleep. So why don't you go ahead and post that into the chat so people can get in there.
Sure. I play I play Call of Duty a lot. So I used to actually just Twitch and play Call of Duty, which I'll probably still do a bit of that, but also I figure I'll use it once I figure out how to use the OBS program. I'll probably stream on there and YouTube and whatever else, because I think it's cool to have all those platforms.
Yeah. I just so you know, like, it seems to be that a lot of us guys like to game too on Twitch. And it's funny because I like to game, and whenever I would game on YouTube, I would have a bunch of people pissed off and be like, hey, this isn't, you know, your normal show. and they would like unsubscribe. But I do it over here at Twitch, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I game too," you know. So I'm finding a new home here at Twitch. That is, like I keep saying, until I'm pointing at you, Jiggy Tom. Develop a live streaming over at Library, and I will promote them. Until then, I'm stuck here. You know, I want to get more and more decentralized, and you guys know that I talk about Library all the time. I'm a fan of them, so check them out if you haven't. I've got stories all up the wazoo about them. You just have to click on one. I have one called "What is Library?" So yeah, some of these people will still come if you want to play Call of Duty and just hang out and talk to you and ask you crypto questions while you play.
Honestly, I think that would be great for me because a lot of times my channel can be so regimented in the way that I do things, and you know the the research and stuff that goes into it. Some nights I want to come home and blow off some steam and play Call of Duty, so that might be a nice kind of segue just to play some video games and talk about crypto.
Yeah, I mean, you could merely make a segment here on Twitch called like crypto gaming.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, people would come in and just like talk crypto while you game, and I bet it would be huge.
Probably. Maybe I'll start doing that.
There you go. I gave you that idea. You gotta let me on.
You heard it first here on Lupo TV.
Yeah, you gotta let me come game with you. That'll be cool.
Yeah, for sure. We can definitely do that.
Also, I just keep getting cheers from Jiggy Tom. Thanks, Jiggy Tom. I appreciate you swinging through and showing us love. So, if you want to say any last words, I know you have to go, but I'm going to stay on and talk with the audience for a bit. So we're not going anywhere. It's kind of like a bar, you know, where it's sort of closing, but you end up staying really late and drinking until we throw you out. That's kind of like my channel. Even though I say I'm leaving, I never do. So
I like it. Yeah, so I mean, I just revived my my Twitch over there. I dropped the link in the chat. My Twitter's the same thing. All my handles are Crypto Candor, so that's my YouTube, that's Twitch. The only thing that's different is Steemit, which I can also put in the chat, but pretty much across the board, it's Crypto Candor. And I have, like I said, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I don't know. I feel like I have a Discord server too, individually. If you guys want to come in, if you're on Discord and you want to chat, I'm there. But yeah, I'm pretty much like always on some sort of platform at all times. So I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. If you have questions, you want to talk, feel free to reach out, because that's the whole community, is just talking and communicating. Yeah,
that's it. We will talk about that, and there's lots of other questions coming in, but I don't know how long you can stay, so I don't.
Yeah, I gotta run. So right. I would like to thank you for having me on and the invite, and I would love to come on and do this again with you guys.
Very cool. You're always welcome here. You're part of the family now, and there is a feature called hosting. Are you familiar with what Twitch hosting is?
Yes, I am.
Okay, for you guys new to Twitch, because I know a bunch of you kind of came over here kicking and screaming from YouTube when I left YouTube. There's a feature called hosting, where if you come to my channel and Alex has her channel going, if I host her channel, even though you're coming to my channel, all of a sudden you'll see her show. Yep. So I'm going to host Alex's show, and I don't know if you want to host mine, but
absolutely,
you're welcome to.
I'll turn hosting on.
Yeah, I'll turn hosting. So if you come to my show, my channel, and she's talking, that's what's going on. I host other shows that I like when I'm not here. So cool. I know some of you guys are new and don't know that. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And
thank you.
You've been a wonderful guest. Good luck with the crypto, and I'll be bugging you for all kinds of crypto advice later.
Anytime you want.
All right.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye, Groovy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Alex, and you can find her over at Crypto Candor on Twitch. You want to go follow her. Hopefully I've talked her into coming back to life on Twitch. So as far as, I never heard from Sharon on here. I don't know if she's going to come on or not. So Sharon, if you're in chat, let me know you're ready to go. You can jump in and talk. There is some questions. What did I miss? If you have questions, come and feel free to ask me. Moopaloo, I don't know how to say your name right. Moopaloo. What is Steemit? Okay, so there's different decentralized platforms out there. Steemit is kind of like a free speech liberty platform for that works like Reddit. It's kind of like a Reddit, where you're reading posts. It is popular. It's gained a lot of popularity, but I do post over there and I work, and I use their service called DLive, which is decentralized streaming for live streaming. Now, Steemit's sort of decentralized. It says it is, but it's not really. It runs through different kinds of nodes. that are centralized still, I think. I'm kind of lukewarm on Steam It. I like parts of it. I don't like other parts. The crypto seems shady, and it is very schmoozy. Like, you have to know someone over there to get seen. People have voting power depending on how long they've been there and how much of an influencer they are. And if you don't know a whale, you just like never get seen. So it's, now that being said, it is a really good step in the right direction. I do support them. I just have my favorites, and I spend a lot more time at library. The other thing is there are other alternatives to YouTube, like BitChute. I also published on them, and if you want to see some of these here, I'll turn them on here. These are where I'm at. So I publish over at Library and Speech, DTube, and Steam It. I also now publish on DLive, which I need to put on there. BitChute, and mine's is like, if you like the Facebook experience, you want that kind of interaction, but you want a free speech Facebook where you can post stuff and not be censored or filtered. Mine's is pretty cool too. I don't spend as much time on Mine's as I used to, but I like Mine's. So again, I have my favorites, but I will support any of these networks just because they're trying to do something different, which is good. Because, you know, I got kicked around, and I talked about that thing last time, is how many times do you want to build your business on a platform that belongs to someone else? So are you going to learn your lesson, or are you just going to keep doing this over and over? I don't know why Sharon's not talking to me. Sharon wanted to come on. What do I think about Dysphoria? I have not been over there, so I can't give it a fair shake. I also have not used Gab, because Gab's like a Twitter. I don't use Twitter, really. I mean, it's kind of like automatic. I don't really spend much time at Twitter. The things I mainly use, I'm starting to spend, although I wouldn't say Twitch is an alternative site, because it is owned by Amazon. It is a big corporation. They don't hassle you like YouTube does yet. And I don't know if they're going to get huge and they're going to change things, but I'm really starting to dig for my live streaming, doing it at Twitch. I like this community a lot. Hopefully they don't ruin it when they get too big, although it is not decentralized or anything like that. And I'm also a Liberty guy, so if there is a good platform, I'm going to support it. Like, I'm streaming right now to DLive, but nobody's talking to me or watching me over there. So, you know, I don't know. And one day maybe there will be a streaming network that that I can show my love to that is decentralized. I'm hoping. So I see some people coming in here. Banjojo, what did you say here? You finally get that whale. Oh, you finally got a whale over at Steam It? No, I haven't got a whale to really... I mean, Barry Cooper's pretty much the biggest whale I know over there, and he does throw me some love once in a blue moon, but I have a hard time making it on Steam It, man. I'm kind of like a D-level guy over there. I started Steam It with the big boys, but if you weren't, you know, really popular... And I don't talk about, this is a problem with my show, is I could get gigantic if I wanted to talk about current events. I could get huge if I wanted to sit here and talk about the president screwing you over, or losses of freedom, or fear-based things, fear-based things, fear-based things. There's a million other shows that do that, and they have huge ratings. The problem is, I think that is a negative cycle, and it locks your mind into a fear way of living. So all you do is watch the news, and you're like, man, there goes another one of our freedoms. There goes another, you know, the president did something else stupid and this and that. And it's all a huge distraction, because 99% of it never does anything in your life. It is just something you think about that never really affects you. And instead of putting all that time into fear-based things like watching news and caring about red versus blue and politicians and freedoms, and, you know, I instead decide to live a life of freedom. I do what the hell I want, and if I get in trouble, I get in trouble. But I'm not going to live in fear about it. And so that's the way I live, and that's the way it is. And I'm a much happier person because of it. I'm much happier focusing on positive and uplifting things. And the whole point of me being here in this reality, on this run, is to help raise up as many people as I can, and you know, make this place a little better than when I left it. And I don't think you can do that by feeding into negative platforms like, you know, just reinforcing bonds of politicians. Oh, wow, Crypto Candor subscribed. Wow, thanks for subscribing. That's huge. So also I had another subscription today. Darn it, and I didn't get a chance to say thank you. But damn, who subscribed earlier? I missed it. I was right in mid-conversation. If you subscribed earlier, please remind me you did, because that's huge. So if you didn't realize, you can you get Twitch Prime, and Amazon owns Twitch. So if you pay for Amazon Prime, you can tie your Amazon account to your Twitch account. What that does is all of a sudden a little crown will appear, and when that crown appears, you can by your name. Like if you look at Sour Scar, it's Sour Scar has like a little, or Ghetto Mug has a little Twitch Prime logo. It's a little crown. These people, if they can subscribe to one person a month, completely free. Well, it's not free. You've already paid for it on Prime. It's included in your Prime. And if you're not using it, I would love it if you subscribe to me, because that way Twitch actually throws me some currency for the month, and it's very, very appreciated. And if you're already paying for Prime, it's like a way to give the show free money without you having to pay anything. So if you have Prime, go link your Twitch account and come back and subscribe, and it would be a very good karma thing to do. Just saying. Just saying. Just put that out there. It's good for your karma. Otherwise, if you just want to pay like $5 a month, you can drop it in. Oh yeah, there you are, Sharon. I've been waiting for you to make a comment. You want to come on live? I'll bring you in. Sharon, I was gonna bring you in, but I didn't see you comment at all, and I didn't think you were watching. So let me bring you into this. So I do really, really appreciate, there's two ways. Okay, this is different than YouTube, because I know a lot of you guys are new at YouTube. There is the follow, which is the little heart. You follow me, and that lets you know when I go live and stuff. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free. That is like subscribing to someone on YouTube. If you subscribe on Twitch, it's different than YouTube. It means you're pledging monthly. It's like a Patreon donation. So that's super, super cool when you subscribe. I don't know, Carla. I mean, if you're already subscribed to someone, I think every month it just ends and you can subscribe to someone else. I think. Because that's what happened to me. I was subscribing to Unirock, and then I subscribed over to Miss Doom, and then it realized that it took it away from Unirock, and so I was like, what the hell? I thought it would subscribe both, but you only get one, apparently, and now I've learned my lesson. So, Sharon, let me bring you in via Discord, and I will... if you're ready to go, Sharon had some comments and questions she'd like to add
Sharon,
on.
let me bring you in.
Bringing you in?
And I will,
okay, Sharon, so go ahead and mute out, because I'm getting double feedback.
You'd like to add on. Let me bring you in.
Sharon, mute out.
And I will, okay.
All right, I'm going to mute you too. Mute out there. We're trying to bring Sharon in, but she's not listening. Sharon, mute out. All right, I gotta hang up until she figures it out. Sorry, guys. So that was we're gonna bring Sharon in a little bit when she figures out that she's got to mute her what she's watching, because I can hear it and everybody else heard it, and when she came on, 5 people just dropped out. So yeah, people are weird about sound. Carl, I wouldn't worry about it. I'll just link it to my Prime. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, you're already doing Patreon. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But if you just happen to have Prime, it's like a great way to give me currency that doesn't cost anything. You know how it's like when you guys were using my Prime links, which I appreciate my Amazon links. You wanted to support the show, so you would go in through the Amazon links and shop, and that would help a lot. Oh yeah, and Crypto Candor has also a Patreon. Go check her out too. Okay, Sharon, we're going to try this again. Please mute your stuff. Here we go. Let's see if she's got it now. Sharon, you there? Sharon? I don't think she can hear me now because she's muted. Let me see. Are you there? Ah, there you go. I can hear you. Can you hear me? All right, so we're trying to get this set up. Please hang with us for a sec. We are experiencing technical difficulties. I have a little thing for that. I don't know where it is. So, Sharon, talk. Can you talk? I can't. This is like the worst interview ever. Come on, Sharon, where are you? Oh my goodness. All right, I don't think she can figure this out. All right, we'll have to come back. Sorry, Sharon. I see you there, but you're not talking to me. All right. Well, we tried. So, Sharon, if you get that in order, we were trying to add her, but we practiced before, but I think she just doesn't. She's not listening. It's still entertaining. Okay, well, thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed my suffering, my live suffering. Yeah, she was. You got reverb. That was the problem. Is what happened is I'm trying to bring on a guest, but she is watching the show. So when I bring her on, I can hear the show and it's reverbing like crazy. So she's got to mute the computer, but I think she muted everything and doesn't know. So we'll have to do that another time when we get our sound straightened out, because hopefully she'll figure that out. Okay, Miss Mary, thank you for the bits. So if you have any other questions about cryptocurrency or how to get started or my opinion on stuff, I'd be happy to take those at the time. If you guys want to ask anything also about the show or status. Again, I appreciate you guys coming over from YouTube, because I know YouTube has been a little nasty lately to me. And I just saw that, so who was saying it? It was a couple of you guys said that you actually tried to click the Twitch feed, and that the Twitch actually, the Twitch feed actually said it was like trying to warn you for malware and viruses. And I believe the same thing happened over at Library today. Someone posted a library, and let me see if I can get the picture of it to show you guys what I'm talking about. I believe Jiggy Tom, yeah, oh, Rouse posted this. I'm going to show you guys it so you can see it. But apparently, so YouTube, YouTube's like, oh, well, library is dangerous. And now they're doing the same thing to Twitch. So they apparently don't like competition much. They are not happy that I have fled the farm, I guess. Which is sad, because I did have a love relationship with YouTube for a long time. And I really do like them for, I mean, they do offer more features than anyone else, and their platform's awesome when it works. Their censorship sucks, and the way they're treating me sucks, as far as I'm concerned. I've been with them 9 years, man. And so I'm happy to find a new life over here at Twitch, though. It was a blessing in disguise, because I dig this place a lot. So I think it was Cree, right? Cree, did you the one that said that you had the problem earlier? I would love to get an email of that, the picture of it. That'd be great to see what the YouTubes is talking about. Which is fun. So there's some things here. Oh, okay, Miss Waffle. Sharon Bailey needs you to call her on Discord now. Does she got it all figured out? Here we go. We'll give you one more try, Sharon. If this doesn't work, we're done. We'll have to set it up for another day. So we will give this one more whirl. And here we go. All right, Sharon.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, everything's working right. I'm sorry,
Okay.
but it was really bad audio. I had to kill
Oh, I
it.
understand. I just have to learn how to use Twitch. I never heard of it before, but I like it.
Oh, Twitch is very cool. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So Sharon is a friend of the show. She's been on lots of times. She's also into cryptocurrency and crypto trading. So
Yeah.
go ahead and give us your 2 cents on your experience with crypto, and let's talk about that.
Well, there's 2 ways. You can buy and hold, or you can trade. And I can't buy and hold, because when something goes way up, how do you not take that? And when it goes down, you feel awful. And the only way I can buy and hold is if I just $50 a month in an account that, and ignore it. But real money, I can't buy and hold. So I realized I just better learn how to trade. So, and I've been, learning Elliott Wave. I used to not, I've been a trader from way back when in the .com days, but Elliott Wave is really good at picking the cryptos at the extreme lowest bottom just before they make 1,000% gain. So I'm just really starting to study and learn and count the waves and get to the right spot. But my whole crypto experience has been about 3 months of massive learning, and there is so much to know. It's so hard because you want to buy one of these, they call them altcoins, anything that's not Bitcoin. You want to buy that because it's made, 800% and Bitcoin went up 20%, So the problem is, then you buy it and then you're trading it against Bitcoin and the chart could go down, but Bitcoin's going up, and you still made money because you're selling it for more Bitcoin, and it's really confusing.
Well, Sharon, let me ask you, because there's a lot of people in here that don't know what you're talking about. Explain a little bit about Elliott Wave, what that is, and what your opinion of it is. Also, if you could slide just a hair to the right, I can't seem to get you centered. There you go, perfect. Thank you.
I'm not looking because I turned my...
No. I just can't seem to center it on this Discord software. There you go. Perfect.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
So Elliott Wave is just a, back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, somebody wrote a book about how market sentiment waves, they go up, down, up, down, up, down, and you can count them. They go in fractals. And you know that it's going to go so far up and then so far down, and then and you can really predict where the price is going. It takes a lot of study to get it right, and then it changes. So it's like, well, if it goes, any higher, then you have to recount it and do something else. But it will accurately predict price. So anyone is interested, that's really good to learn.
I mean, my understanding of it is it's kind of based on like Fibonacci waves. Everything in the universe has the same cycle of going up and down the same amount of times, and someone applied that to stock markets and trading, and they're trying to use a Fibonacci wave to pick when things go up and down. And does it work?
It really does, except it could turn on you. You could be sure that it's going up, and then the whole count changed and now it's going down. But now you might have 2 or 3 different versions, and as the price moves, you change your target. And I mean, it could be your target still could be up here, but it might be, instead of going like that, you're going to go then up. It just changes. But what I like about the trading aspect is that this is a one-time opportunity, the cryptocurrency market. It's like the .com days on steroids, right? And so holding will make you very rich if you pick the right coins. Buying and selling will make you richer if you do it correctly, but you have to only do a portion of your money in any one thing. You don't, you do risk management, they call it. But what I found is I'm really good at finding the people on YouTube that are good to follow and tell you the good coins too. But like, if you're going to buy and hold, you better know the fundamentals and what does the coin do, and are people liking it, or is it Dogecoin, the doggy coin that everybody loves, that was a joke. I mean, that I wouldn't hold for 20 years because but if you're trading, you don't even care what the coin does. You just care that the price went from here to here, so now it's going to go up or down. I mean, you just know that you're following certain rules. So it doesn't matter what it is. And it also doesn't matter what the news is. What's so interesting about Elliott Wave trading, the price is going where it's going to go regardless of the news or any external factor. It's going there because of market sentiment, because of people's emotions. And I can always tell right when a stock or a coin or whatever is about to turn around. It's when you can't stand the pain anymore and you have to sell it because the pain, it's too far down. And when you feel that, you know that it's just about to turn. And Elliott Wave will tell you that, so you don't have to feel that emotion. You can say, oh, well, supposed to go down to here and it's almost there, you know, and you get kind of excited and it's like, okay, I'll buy more. So that's what I like about it. It takes the emotion out of the trading. And I would like to be a buy and holder. I just have a hard time doing that, you know, and I just started with the coins. So I might pick a few to hold. I held Litecoin. It was great. I bought it really low. I saw it go to 420 and didn't sell. I bought it like in the 60s, saw it go to 420, didn't sell it. Now it's hovering around 200, and Elliott Wave says it's probably going to go to 100 or not.
Yeah,
and I lost it all, and that's the only one I didn't trade because I didn't want to take the tax consequence, you know. And I'm realizing I'd much rather be a trader. So, but let me explain the whole crypto thing.
Sure, go ahead.
You know, and I'm not seeing the chat, so I don't know if anyone.
Oh, you can't see the chat.
I closed it.
Okay.
I had to close it because I didn't know how to mute it. So you put your money in. You put your money into Coinbase or Gemini, and then you have to transfer it. And you have to. If you transfer Bitcoin, it's expensive. They broke Bitcoin on purpose. I mean, it didn't have to be $75 to transfer. They broke it. They made it 4, 5, 6 hours. You know, you transfer your money here. You're not sure you did it right. There's all these warnings that you could do it wrong. If you put Ethereum into a Bitcoin wallet, you just lost all your money. You'll never recover it. You cannot make a mistake, right? You have to be absolutely sure when you're transferring. You know, the wallet address is exact. You check the first 3, you check the last 3 to make sure you didn't cut something off, and you know, and it's really complicated. Then you send your money and you wait and you wait, and 3 hours later it's not there. I lost it. You know, it's terrifying almost to do this. They broke Bitcoin. Other coins will transfer really fast and be really cheap. Litecoin's cheap to transfer. Maybe only takes an hour. Bitcoin could take 8 hours. It's ridiculous. And I've heard that they broke it on purpose because they want to bring in this lightning network that will, so a bank can get in the middle, basically. They're going to say, oh, you don't want to wait 8 hours to transfer your Bitcoin, and you don't want to pay $75. So we'll settle up with you in 30 or 40 seconds, and you can pay us $2.
I could see that. I mean, they're struggling to get in their way to regulate this, and there's people begging for regulation.
It's not so much the regulation as it is they want to know where the money's going.
Yeah, but that's
follow it.
The opposite of why Bitcoin was founded. It was founded to be anonymous and to work around governments and to have some freaking privacy in your life. So I think every time that there is a regulation hurdle like that, there will be some new coin that comes out that works around it. Like she was saying,
so I'm not even sure that Bitcoin's going to be the top dog coin because they broke it, and the public is like,
yeah, I think it's over because it's like the granddaddy of coins. I can't even do a transaction without spending $40 in transaction fees or some shit.
Exactly,
it's way too much.
And so do you want to buy and hold Bitcoin? Well, maybe Bitcoin's like where the millionaires hold is, you know, the big, huge bonds or something. And then there's all these other little coins. So you have to be flexible. That's the problem with buy and hold. I bought buy and hold Litecoin. Then I find out Litecoin is the one that's making this lightning network. That's the bank that gets in the middle, which the public is going to hate, but the governments will like. Maybe they're only going to allow Bitcoin as long as a bank is in the middle.
Right. And there'll be that. But, you know, I've been in this space a long time. And even though I'm not a big crypto guy, all my friends are. And like I said, you know, I was there in the start of Bitcoin. And I will tell you that the point is that there is guys that are super diehard that do not want to be regulated. And then you'll go to something and people are like begging, seriously begging, please regulate us. And it starts a huge fight in the community, and I think it's going to develop to 2 different communities. It's like where you can keep yourself private and where you can't. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the future.
Well, some coins could be private and some not, you know.
Well, I think someone will come up with a way to private coin. You know, there were things like Dark Wallet that came out, or blenders where you put a coin in somewhere and it spits it out randomly on someone else and they spit one back to you. Like, there'll be ways, some smart person will figure out how to keep yourself private eventually.
Right. And so as far as like getting money around, like the best money is made I've learned the harder the coin is to buy, the more it will go up. If you have to go open another whole account on some place you barely ever heard of to buy the coin, it's going to go up a lot. So, and then so what I found is, then I finally opened coin accounts everywhere, and
but you're having fun. You're doing pretty darn good. If I remember right, you're doing quite good trading. I need to listen to what you're doing.
All of my coins are like down, and all the positions I'm holding are like down negative right now, and I'm still up 300% since October. Yeah. Well, October 15th, I started with $500, and and then I've been increasing it with bigger money in November. But and I don't think I've added much in January at all. It's all last year's money.
Got it.
But so it's fun to trade. I did make 850% profit on something.
Holy cow.
On one trade, on Tron.
Yeah.
Got out at the top, then did something really stupid, bought it back at 1,200 and watched it go to 4 or something. I don't know. It's just.
Well, I was going to say.
I bought back with less. So.
Sharon, for people that, there's some people that are. It's very similar to stock market. There's people that don't want to do much risk, where they'll just buy and wait it out. They got time. They're just going to buy and hold. And then there's people like you that want to make the big profits that trade. What advice would you give to someone who wants to go your route? Like, to me, it's like gambling. Like, don't spend more than you can lose. Like, don't.
Right.
It is basically gambling, but informed gambling with good decisions, hopefully.
Well,
and you use intuition.
I could say the advice that I would give, which isn't the advice that I follow always. Like, don't FOMO. FOMO means fear of missing out. That means it's going up. Oh, I got to get more. I got to get more. You're going to end up at a negative position if you do that.
Yeah.
Right.
When you hear about something, it's already too late usually.
Right. Unless you're really going to day trade it, you're going to get in and get out. Get in. I made 25%. I'm out. But I've got on these altcoins, I've got standards. If it's not 100% increase, I'm not interested. So, you look on the chart and you look and see where it could go. It usually will go to where it's been before for easily. Right. And then if it goes into blue sky high territory, then you do some Fibonacci numbers, Fibonacci extension or retracement numbers, which you can read about on YouTube, how to use them to figure out where the targets are. But I want to tell everybody, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm serious. I heard this one guy say that 1% of the population is in cryptocurrency, and in a year or two, it'll be 13-14%. I totally agree with that. That means it's like a new technology. Everybody's afraid we're in a bubble, but they call this an S curve. It's a new technology curve, where it goes kind of like this, and then it goes vertical for years, and then it flattens out, right? So it's like an S. It goes like this, but this could be 5 years, and because everybody's getting into it. Now, there's so much fear in the Bitcoin market that when it drops 80%. Usually, that's the problem, because everybody's like, well, a government could ban it at any moment. China just banned it. Oh my gosh, we dropped. Oh, wait a minute, but that's old news. That already happened. They just make an excuse to say why it dropped. But but there is fear, and you never know. And maybe there's an EMP that takes off, takes out your electronics. But 85% of the market is China. So don't think Americans have much, not China, Asia. And one of the things I love about trading is I live in California. At 8 o'clock California time is when Asia wakes up, and it gets really busy. Really good. It's like the best market to trade because you're home. For you East Coast people, it's a little late. You have to be a night owl. But
right.
That's when it starts moving. And and you could easily, make a couple 100% in an hour, depend on what you bought. But
yeah, I didn't realize that most of the currency is being traded in Asia. I thought it was still US heavy, but to get
even
that
though
exchange.
China has banned it and it didn't matter, but now they really are going to go after the people that are trading it. I think they're, North Korea is banning it, but the Asians are crazy for it. So it doesn't matter. You ban it, you make people want it more.
Well, someone was saying,
Right.
I thought Bitcoin is unbannable. Yeah, it is unbannable in a sense that if you can get around the hubs, they can't necessarily stop it, but what they can do is kind of cripple the companies. Say like here, if Comcast had some sort of way to say, okay, any sort of cryptocurrency is flagged and blocked. So they get blocked where they just can't get access to it. And if, with China, God knows who knows, they might be able to figure you out and say, oh, the major traders, let's take them out. So
you went to this website, you go
Yeah.
to jail,
that sort of thing. So you have to be careful with those. But then there's going to be lots of countries that welcome it with open arms, and they're going to get ridiculously rich.
Japan made it a currency, a legal currency.
Yeah.
So, it just depends. And there's a lot. I know that Bitcoin will eventually win out, but it might win out regulated. Like,
Yeah.
the market.
I think it's just built on old technology, though. It's like grandpa technology that I think that it's going to get crushed under its own weight in a way. That they'll come out with like Bitcoin new or something that,
Well, the fees and the time it takes to transfer it have really broken it. You really have to sell it into something else, transfer something else.
Yeah.
And then use that. And when you buy these altcoins, which is anything not Bitcoin, you buy it against US dollar or another coin. And it's not just Bitcoin. You could buy it against Ethereum, and you could buy it against a couple other coins are coming online. So it's very confusing to do this. And there's a few websites that do USDT, which means USD tether. It means they can't really take dollars because they don't want to go through all the drug money laundering laws, but they'll let you sell your Bitcoin into a coin that they say is worth $1, but it'll go up and down from 90 cents to $1.10 based on demand.
Yeah.
So, but if you think Bitcoin's going to fall, you put it in USDT, and you can sit there and wait while it falls and buy it back later. But then there's all this thing about, is USDT even legal and all that problem? They're questioning that. But so most of these brokers only take coin. You have to give them coin. You can't give them US dollars. You give them US dollars at Gemini and at Coinbase.
Gotcha.
And then you transfer it. But you can't transfer your Bitcoin because Bitcoin's too expensive to transfer. So if you want to buy an altcoin, you have to put your money in Gemini, buy Ethereum, wait 5 days, transfer it out. Or put it into Coinbase, use a credit card, pay a 4% fee, and transfer it immediately, or do a 1.5% ACH fee. Gemini doesn't charge fees. 1.5 ACH fee, and wait 5 days, and then buy, or whatever.
Yeah, she covered that in the beginning about the Gemini and the difference.
Right, and so then you take your money and you put it to another broker. I like Binance, Poloniex, Poloniex, and Bittrex, Bittrex. Most of the others don't take U.S. customers. I mean, there's a whole bunch more out there, and they do not take U.S. customers because of the drug money laundering laws.
Sharon, I've got to kind of start wrapping this down.
Okay.
But if you want to say one last thing about it, that's cool with me. And then I've got to talk about who's coming on Tuesday. And if you guys, I saw a bunch of people come late. If you came late, this will be restreamed. If you're like, man, you're talking way over my head, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. We talked about the nuts and bolts of Bitcoin in the beginning and cryptocurrencies. So if you missed this and you're like, man, this isn't for noobs, that's because you're an hour late. So go back to the beginning of the show. All right, go ahead, Sharon, take it away.
Okay, the price of Bitcoin changes massively on different exchanges. There's not one exchange. Coinbase has its own exchange. Binance has its own exchange. Poloniex has its own exchange. The price differs on each exchange. It could differ from a European exchange. It could be $2,000 cheaper than a Coinbase. The problem is Americans can't sign up for the European exchange and Europeans can't sign up for the American exchange or whatever. I mean, they call that arbitrage. So when you're trying to figure out the price, it's like the price you're getting is often an average, and it's very hard. It's very confusing to realize it's not like the stock market. There's not one price. You know, the Korean exchanges are usually much higher, but you can't buy or sell in the Korean exchanges. So that's another issue to know that.
We'll bring you back when we decide to have a full-blown, you know, crypto trading show. I think you'd be really good there. But
and the beauty, let me tell everybody, the beauty of now, now is it's the beginning, and you can make all the dumb mistakes in the world and still make money. You know? Yeah.
You've done well. You've done well. I need to get a little more into it. I'm just going to take a little bit of gambling money and put it in just to see where we go with it. But I've done well already on library coins. I've done real well. So
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to buy it. I like the idea because I'm tired of YouTube, and so is everybody else.
It's a whole. I don't think that's a quick churn strategy. You know, like I said, just in a few weeks, I've seen it go from 20 to $1.20. So. I mean, it's minor. It's not like going up thousands %. But when it gets mainstream, I think it's going to go crazy.
Right. So. Well, what happens with all of these is you just look at the chart, and there's a time when it's about ready to go up and about ready to pop, and that's what Elliott Wave will tell you, and that's a perfect time to get in. Right. Often I like to ladder in. That's very important. You put a little. You don't put, you know, $1,000 in here, because what if it goes down 80%? Oh my gosh! You know, you put in 20%, 20%, or 25. It's easier to put in 25% because most of the brokers will let you put in 25% of, like, you could push a button and buy or sell 25%, 50%, 75%. So that's a good breakup point. But it's easy. Like, you know, if you bought Bitcoin at 10,000 and it went to 8,900 recently, you felt bad. If you only bought 25% at 10,000, you bought another 25% at 8,900, right? Right. So anyway.
Okay, well, thank you, Sharon, for coming on, and I'd love to have you come back for some other topics for sure, too. So let's try to get back in touch. It's been a long time. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye, Sharon. Thanks. And you can find her on Discord if you have any questions. She hangs out in there. And if you want to tell them where to find you, if they have any questions for you, where would people find you?
Well, I don't really do a social media thing. But okay. Yeah, sorry.
All right, well, I'll forward questions to her. If you have something, I'll pass it on to her. All right, thank you so much.
That would be great. All right, bye.
As far as Tuesday coming up, we are having Miss Doom on. She was supposed to come on today. There was a kind of a mix-up with, I think what happened was that I was originally supposed to have Alex on, but Alex didn't get back to me till the last minute. So I set up Dr. Fine, Mrs. Doom, to come on in, and we're going to talk about relationships. Now, this is a topic that I probably need to talk about, but I don't want to, but I need to talk about it. And we're going to talk about what to do in poison relationships. Like, you're a positive person, you're an empath, but everybody around you is negative, and, you know, how do you get out of the bucket of crabs? So we're going to talk to her about that, and I will take your questions to ask her any sort of relationship advice live on air. So I hope she'll come. If you missed the show, all this will be again stored, and I will put this up over at YouTube, the rerun. People can catch it there. And I do also want to thank, man, I got all kinds of crazy love on this show. People were dropping bits like it was a strip club around here. I'm very, very grateful. I had 2 people subscribe, which blows me away that I got some subscribers. That's so cool. I'm going to, even if I do get, or when I get my YouTube live stream ability back, I like Twitch so much better that I think I'm staying here, and I'm not going to divide the audience, because I feel like if I divide and I start streaming on both platforms, like 80% are going to go back to where they're used to going. They're just going to stay at YouTube, and then like part of people are going to stay at Twitch, and I don't really want to divide us anymore. I'm sick of dividing our audience. So if they want to watch it live, it's going to be here, and I'm going to start going exclusive on Twitch and DLive. Pretty much. I mean, you'll still be able to catch it on Periscope or Shoutcast, but none of those places or Mixer really hang out and talk to us much. So the traffic will be on Twitch. I I hope you guys like it here. So far, I think a lot of people like it. I see you guys playing with emojis and playing with loopies and gambling and doing all kinds of silly stuff in the, the chat. So it's been a lot of fun. I really I appreciate you guys playing around with that stuff. It's fun. Okay, so as I said, if you haven't followed me, if you're new here and you came over from YouTube and you're like, what is Twitch? You can go ahead and hit the little follow button. You have to hit the little heart up top that says follow. The subscribe button is if you want to do like a monthly donation and subscribe. You want to support the show. It's kind of like a Patreon sort of deal. So that's what's up. So Moopaloo says, I heard you can't split stream and be an affiliate. Is that true? And Miss Doom knows this a lot more than me, and she says no, it is not true. So yeah. So Celebra, great stream, Lupo. I'm gonna follow you for sure. Thanks for hosting, Alex. Well, it's a great subject coming on. I've got to jets. So much to do, so little time. Thank you for coming and hanging out with Alex too. And Jenny, I know that you were late. I'm sorry if you missed the whole crypto talk. Jenny, just come back and hang out, and you can watch the rerun of this. It'll be posted in a few minutes, I think, on Twitch. Miss Doom, how fast does the restream go up? I never really checked. Will it be up when I end this, or does it, like YouTube takes like an hour to process? It takes a while before the actual live show goes up, so I'm not sure. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Do you guys have any last questions before I close this down? I probably, Miss Doom, are you streaming tonight? Are you doing games you want to plug where you're going to be? And what I'm probably going to do, for you guys that don't know on Twitch, is that I, for good karma, what I'm going to do is go to another channel, and we're going to pick a channel together on Twitch, and we're going to raid that channel. So what it is you know how my channel is all about being good, nice, and trying to make people feel good. Well, some of these Twitch channels are just getting going, or they don't have a very big audience, but they're doing cool things. So what I will do is we are going to pick a channel together here, and we're going to see what's going on. So if you're on Twitch, the way to find stuff is you go to this browse feature. And what I try to do is, I don't really play any of these games, so I'm not like going to go watch someone game. But there is a section here called In Real Life. There's also another section called Talk Shows, which is where I'm streaming right now. And Creative, which is people like painting and making things. I try to go to the talk shows if there's something that interesting, or the creative. Last time we crashed a pottery show, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the pottery talk. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, let's see, which one do you guys want to take a look at here? We've got, I wonder what this 1970s thing, if this is just music, or is he actually talking? Let's see what he's doing, because, you know, I'm a kid of the 70s. I like 70s stuff.
Playlists.
That's right, I'm nodding.
I'm going to see if this is in English
yeah,
or not.
I'm very impressed by the production quality on Ain't No Sunshine when she's gone. I think that
okay,
how they
so
bring
this
in
is
the backing instruments for.
It seems like people listening to records, 70s music. Do you want to try that? Let me know in the chat if you're interested in doing that. If not, we could go to, let's see. Where else can we go? We'll go out of this, and if you don't want to go to that, I don't know these other shows at all. I'm trying to find something that looks kind of fun. My favorite games, gaming. Let's try to find something under creative. Usually those are more interesting to watch. We'll go to creative, and what do you guys want to try? Maybe let's see if there's someone making food. We haven't done a food one. Is there anyone making food? This lady looks like she's making food. Let's see what she's making.
All right. cut our little spudsy guys out. So I got these potatoes from Imperfect Produce,
Actually,
which is a...
she's got a really
I've talked about this before, but it's a...
Actually, she's got 66 viewers. I'm trying to find someone small that would be like, oh my god, thanks for rating me. You know, like someone starting out that's struggling. Let's take a look here. Maybe this guy making a mask.
Yeah, I like the song.
So I'm going to ask him, does he reply to chat? See if he actually talks and pays attention to it. So let's find someone good to... Do you guys like sculpting? I don't think he's listening.
Another incisor. There we go.
No, I don't think he's...
Get a few molars out.
I don't think he's paying much attention, is he?
Maybe.
Let's see. We'll give him a minute, because this is kind of cool. I like this. You like this, Lava Girl? You want to go to this one?
Little skull shape.
But we got to make sure that he's actually paying attention. Maybe if I can get him, it'll ding or something.
I would use that, but I couldn't demold that.
I don't think he's...
Demold that.
Yeah, he's not responding, guys. Sorry. Let's try another one. Oh, wait. Maybe he's going to look. Hold on.
Hi, yes, I do read my chat. How you doing?
Okay, there he is. Okay, so that's who we're going to go to. We're going to go to... What's going to happen with the live raid is you guys will just move over there automatically, and we'll go show them some love. So, if you don't want to go, you'll have a choice. You don't have to. But I think this guy looks pretty fun, so we will give it a whirl. And you guys make sure you join Miss Doom tonight for playing, and I'll see you back. I might play this weekend too, just for fun. So here we go. Let's see if this works.
Not sure I like that.
And we're gonna go over and raid him. Thank you. Love you guys. Support each other. Be nice to that cat. I know you guys have cats. Everybody has cats at school. Hopefully my chat works. I see you, Lava Girl. I see you guys. And thanks for modding for me, Miss Waffles. I appreciate it. Much love to you. Here we go. You guys will just disappear and go over there. All of a sudden it'll become his. And you're ready to go. So there you go. So.
Oh shit! Thanks a lot for the raid, dude.
Yeah, he got excited.
Damn, the raid, protect me, guys.
All right, I'll see you.